and we welcome you. Aldrin, we welcome you. We know it's not easy to have to look at some of us that you've engaged with through Johnny. We may not even begin to grasp what you're going through, but we'll just say, with this gathering today, we truly hope you get to feel an ounce of our hearts towards your husband. And as I was preparing this morning before I called Pastor Manzi and praying about this day, Isaiah 41 says, do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand. God is an ever-present help in times of need. This is the only thing that will make sense to many, and just reach out to him. So with that, as I welcome you to the day, there's no way that we can start a service like this without prayer. So if I may ask Pastor Zimbabwe to come. We're only handing it over to you because we don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
So please pray for us and just welcome us with a word of prayer.
Thank you.
Program Director, thank you so much. To the family of Jonisayi, the wife and the daughter, the Chinese Consul General Elijah Mtanga, the chairperson of the AMCF, the staff of GCIS, friends and colleagues, please be greeted. Just before I open in a word of prayer, I would like to encourage the family, of course, and everyone else that is affected by the passing on of our dear brother. I'm referring to, or rather quoting, in the book of Job chapter 14, verse number 5, and it reads thus, since his days are determined, and the number of his months is with you, and you have appointed his limits that he cannot pass. If I can just expound on this simple verse, it is like each of us, the day we were born, we were drawing closer and closer to that line, that divine line that no one can pass. It's not a matter of getting sick or being in an accident, but it's a matter of one getting closer and closer to that line. And once we get to that line, it is done. It's not because a person is bad or whatever reason, but it is because of that divine line that was drawn before we were born. And if I can just quote another scripture again in the book of Revelations chapter 14, verse number 13, it says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, right, blessed are the dead who die in Yahweh. From now on, yes, says the Spirit, they shall rest from their labors, and their works shall follow them. If also I may say a thing or two on this verse, is that our dear brother has rested from his labor, but however, his works shall follow him. If I can also make an illustration using a football match, that each side is given 45 minutes, and they play for 45 minutes, break for 15, and come back again for another 45 minutes. Remembering when we were growing up as young boys, we used to play football. You know, when we knew that we still have enough time, we would not apply ourselves as much as we could. Back then, things were still primitive. The referee would then raise his hand to signal that you have only 5 minutes left. I don't know how, but for whatever reason, whenever we would see that, it was like we would sober up and would apply ourselves to the fullest. But should it happen that the whistle is blown, that the match is over, even if you can score, that goal won't count. Why? Because the match is over. I want to use this illustration to say to Maromo and the daughter and everyone else affected, to say that the whistle, the final whistle, has been blown on your dear husband, your dear father. Let us therefore not curse the Almighty. Let us celebrate the life that the Almighty had borrowed us, the colleagues, the colleague that you had, the friend that you had. Let's just celebrate a life well lived, not complaining, because after all, who knows the day of our departure? No one knows, no one can tell. So Mama, may you please be comforted with these short words that I've uttered. Siswami, the daughter, may you also be comforted. You know, walked this road before, and it is, you know, you can walk it and you can recover. Program Director, that being said, allow me therefore to just have a word of prayer so that we all equally share this short time that we have in celebration of this life well lived. May I ask that maybe we bow our heads as I say a word of prayer, please? Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, it is in the wonderful name of our Master Yeshua that we come before you, humble ourselves before you, as we celebrate the life of our dear brother Jonisayi, Maromo, and we bring this wonderful family before you, the Master Comforter, that you may comfort them with your Holy Spirit. Comfort everyone that has been affected with the passing on of our dear brother. But we're not complaining, dear Heavenly Father. Instead, we are celebrating a life that you have borrowed us, for all life belongs to you. And we're saying to you, as the program is about to start, we are handing it over to you so that everything that will take place will glorify you and you alone. I'm praying, Lord, this is the name that is above every name, the name of Yeshua, our great Messiah. Amen. Take the program, Director.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Appreciate that. And please bear with me. I often like to acknowledge people in stages. So if you hear me mention one for now, know that yours is coming later. So I'm not necessarily one to go through all the acknowledgements right from the beginning. If I may start with just acknowledging the GCIS management and staff. It's a huge one. You know, Jonisayi was not just Jonisayi. Johnny touched so many lives through so many sectors. His life was huge. It isn't just Jonisayi, the journalist. There's a man, there's a father, there's, you know, many facets to the man. So thank you so much for that. And to the Chinese Consul General, thank you so much for just even being here and really showing us just how important you know, Johnny is. Because, you know, in our journey as journalists, there are people we come across that end up becoming more than just stakeholders. They become friends, family, and that's how we get to do our work. It's through relationships. And if I may also thank the African Media and Communicators Forum, Jonisayi was very big in forming this platform. Elijah will talk about that later, but there's no way that we cannot not acknowledge the colleagues there, because the colleagues are even responsible for where we find ourselves today, to ensure that we honor Johnny's life in this manner. I'll continue with the acknowledgements, but as we speak about Jonisayi, we speak about our colleague, our friend. But Michelle, for you, Johnny was a father. And if you can come, I know it's not easy, but Michelle, please come and share with us the man that we may not have known behind closed doors, the man we may not have known, you know, away from what we knew as work. So if you're able to, and feel free to come with anyone who can come with you. If Mom wants to come as well, because I know she's coming afterwards, it's okay. We'll give you time, and we understand the difficulty of this moment. So rest assured, we have all the time for you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Maromo. I'm my father's, I guess, his only child. I recently turned 18 a few weeks ago. My father he went for work and he never came back. Now standing here is like one of the most hardest things in my life right now. Now I never imagined I think most of you know my father, Jonisayi, Maromo, known as Warchild or Johnny by his friends. He was a brilliant man, an intelligent man. He was very wise. He touched most people by his stories. He touched me by his wise words every day at home. When I was struggling, he was there for me. He told me, my daughter, I used to complain that school is hard. And it was like the world is far much harder than my child. And now I see that. Because I'm standing before you, and my father is 6 feet under. My father was a kind man, always put me and my mom first, no matter how busy his life was. The pressure he faced, he always carried us by heart. He was strong, he was disciplined, and incredibly intelligent. But also he had that kindness that drew people in. You see, 2 weeks ago, on my birthday, my dad woke up at exactly 12 and he sang for me. And I could see he wasn't feeling well, but he woke up at 12 just to sing for me, even though we're like, I don't know how many kilometers apart. Now, none of us could imagine that I'd never see him ever again. I saw him lying in his coffin. He wasn't there. He was not the man that I used to know. He looked like he was sleeping. It was so peaceful. Guess I'll never get to hear his laugh again. I'll never run home to see him working on another story ever again. At 4 a.m. on Wednesday, 11 March, I received the news. It changed my life forever. You know, my mom was crying on the phone, and we were on the call like a few hours before that, and he was on the hospital bed, and he was very sick, and I said, you know, I'm going to pray for him, because we've overcome something like this. My mom was crying, and I thought to myself, no, she's just crying because maybe he got worse. And so she turned the phone, and there, was covered. Jonisayi was dead. You know, as an only child, suddenly, the weight of the world was on my shoulders. It's just now, it's me and my mom from now on. Trying to navigate this world without my dad. My father was not just a man who lived. He was a man who made an impact in most of our lives here. His courage, his voice, it touched many lives. He showed me what hard work looks like. He showed me what it means. Even though my father is no longer with us physically, the lessons he taught me will live with me forever. His strength will guide me. His wisdom will inspire me, and his legacy will continue to live through me. Dad, wherever you are, which I hope you are here, I promise you, I will take care of Mom. I work hard, and I will make you proud. Because those were your last words. You said, Nishi, I'm very proud of you. And I'll live by that. Thank you for everyone who's here in honor of my father. Thank you for coming. I don't know where to start. I want to thank you all for being here today to say goodbye to my husband. I met Jonisayi in Tunisia, Harare, in 2005. We started dating then, and on January 2008. We had our traditional wedding later, 2008. It's difficult.
God bless us with our daughter Michelle Maromo. Jonisayi loved his daughter so much. We were a happy family. Even though we had our arguments, Jonisayi could be a short-tempered. You always be the person closest to my heart. Jonisayi was someone did not give up easily. He worked very hard for us. He was a star at his workplace, at IOL, where he can reach 1 million views per month. I was proud of him each and every day. Jonisayi was a very good man, a prayerful warrior. He believes in God with his heart, and his faith has strengthened us all. My husband was sick for a long time, since I met him. But even though his sickness, he stayed strong. In his final moments, I was deep in pain. But it was there by each side. He was asking me, Mrs. where is my wife? Call her, because he was in ICU and I was not being allowed to be there. He was fighting with that nurse. I want my wife. I saw everything. Jonisayi was in pain. His last words, he said, tell my daughter, I love her so much. I want to thank you all for coming. A very special thanks to Jonisayi workmates at IOL for the support, Elijah Planner, the Chinese embassy, the Chinese consulate. May God bless you all. Rest in peace, my love. You will always be in my heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know it's difficult. Aldrin, Michelle, I know it's not easy, but thank you. Thank you for sharing your hearts with us. And thank you so much to Wellness Life Inc. as well. We do appreciate what you are doing, as mental health is a very important part of our lives, and they are providing such services. And at the same time, our profession, you remember as journalists, it can come with all kinds of things, challenges, and generally, you know, we are providing the service that many need, but at times it is not easy for us, or we do not have at times the support. And the team is here, available. Their banner is also there, and they will be here with us throughout the course of the service. If you would like to reach out to them, please do so. It is important for us to have the check-ins. It's Well Life Inc., and they are here for us, here for the family. So if you are overcome by grief during this time, please do not hesitate to reach out to them. And as we continue with the program, I would like to call someone who called Jonisayi a friend, because in the course of life, it isn't only the family part of us that is important, but it is the part of the friendships that we get to form as well that becomes of utmost importance. If I may ask Davison Mudzingwa to come to the front, and I'm going to make this plea that please may I ask that we put our phones on silent, and also now that the family has gone through their part of the program, with each speaker I'm giving very, very limited time, about 3 minutes, and also at the same time, if you lost money, please let me know. I will not tell you how much it is, but if you lost money, if money dropped out of your pocket or somewhere by accident, please do reach out and let us know how much it is. Otherwise, you are not getting it. If you are not able to tell us how much you are missing. We are offering. Elijah says, if you do not come forward, it is offering, and we are grateful. Thank you.
I think I dropped 200 rand. Hey, it's tough, guys. I was thinking of this on my way coming here. That do we need to go through such pain as adults in life? Is it something that we need to go through? Because I think from Wednesday, it's something that I've been reflecting when the news came, and I couldn't believe it. And I think with all the colleagues that we have here that are on the WhatsApp group, it was unreal. We couldn't believe it, and we couldn't make sense of it. And to carry that pain, and also a person that we were talking to yesterday on the group, and for me personally, someone that was talking to me a few days prior to that, checking where I was, because I'd been quiet for some time, because I had a film project that I was doing in the Eastern Cape. So he's sending me a message, where have you been? You're too quiet. I don't like it when you're quiet. And then in the morning you are receiving message. I'm waking up, seeing these messages, all flooding the group. There's a missed call from Jonisayi, there's another missed call from Namazu. It's unreal. It's still unreal. Also on my way, I was coming here, I was thinking of some things. When I was young, at some point, I used to live with my aunt for 2 years. And my aunt had a weird way of mourning each time there's a funeral, there's a death. When she receives news, she would laugh. I thought that was weird. I did it last week, on a Wednesday, when I received the message. I couldn't believe it. All I could do was just to laugh and really talk and say, is this real, Johnny? I talked to him like he was there. Is this real? Is this what he chose to do? It didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. But I think with Jonisayi, we got to be exposed for almost a decade now. We connected on Facebook, but prior to that, we had been following each other's work. So by the time we connected, it was my years when I was transitioning to making documentary films, because I was running away from journalism. I was tired of daily diaries in the newsroom. So I chose to make documentary films. And he sent me a message on Facebook. He says, hey, I follow your work. Chief, there's this group, these two groups that I want to add you so that we can all be together. I was like, oh yeah, this is my number, you can add me. He added me. And I realized that he was a kind of ecosystem builder. He wanted media practitioners, communications practitioners under one roof for us to do work together. He wanted us to share diaries, wanted us to share ideas. And for those that are in the groups who know one of his mantras, let's work hard and make money, comrades. Let's work hard and make money. And that was his passion. And he would share this almost all the time. Sometimes he would be irritated, like, Chief, are we prioritizing this? Comrades, let's work hard and make money. So this is the kind of Jonisayi that I knew. And he laughed hard. He had a sense of humor, and he also had a high tolerance of sense of humor. If you are into be in one of our groups there with a low tolerance of sense of humor, you won't survive an hour. Because sometimes the sense of humor that we share is personal. Sometimes when we really direct that personal, wicked sense of humor on him, you just laugh it off. And so that's the kind of person that he was, that even in his sense of humor, he would tolerate even if something is personal and directed towards him. Well, I'm not sure if my 1 hour prepared speech will fit in 3 minutes. But I want to also emphasize on his big heart. He had a big heart. And I was often surprised that how do you do all this kind of work, this service to so many people, and you still manage to do it. My younger brother passed on 2 years ago. It was a gun violence thing in social movement. When he got to hear about it, he called me, he left everything. He's looking for me. He's like, well, come, we are family now. We need to really share, and we need to really work together. He found me in Harangua where I was, running up and down to really make arrangements for the funeral of my younger brother. And that for me meant a lot. And it was just not for me. Any funeral that would happen, any bereavement with the group, even if it's a distant aunt, if it's mentioned in the group, comrades, let's put contributions together. We are one family. And that's what he stood for. And I think that spirit, that running spirit, for me, I'm happy to see Bongan here. When Bongan had a serious security scare when she was covering the Mozambique post-election violence, Jonisayi was restless, making calls everywhere and also updating us, like, this is where we are, comrades. A comrade Bongan spoke to her. For now, she's fine. We have engaged. So that, for me, shows selflessness, when you can really leave everything that you do in the kind of sort of selfish world that we live in currently, where we all push what we want, and you would leave everything to fight for someone or for everyone. So for me, that was great. And you would fit everywhere. You would post a photo in the afternoon eating papa limotwana in Maromo or chicken in the stands. Later in the day, is in the corridors of Finland buildings, covering a story. So for me, if you have that dynamic range of fitting everywhere, you're a great human being. And few things that we really didn't see eye to eye. I think I mentioned this on Saturday, his love for Arsenal. I didn't understand why he loved Arsenal as a football club. Because I think I support Man City. So each time Arsenal would win, he would post these memes and stickers in the group. It did make sense. And what's worse is that Arsenal won this last weekend. It's not even fair. and I'm getting to understand or to believe that this team that I don't like might actually win the league this season. Sadly, you know. And one more thing that I want to mention about, I think when you touched on it, as journalists, the ultimate goal is to really fix our society. Okay. Even when we cover stories that celebrate other human beings, we're edifying the society. But 90% of our stories, we cover stories that have trauma. All the trauma that we get from the stories that we do, and the vicarious trauma that we get from our colleagues who do other stories and also tell us about those stories, we carry it all the time. And we are fixing a society from a broken point of view. So the trauma that we carry as communicators and as journalists is something that I'm happy, is something that we are working on, that how do we constantly deal with that? Because I think it's a lot, and it claims a lot of journalists, some quietly, some of course we get to hear about it. And it's really something that I thought I should share, that we could work as colleagues going forward. So I really want to thank everyone who organized this, and also thank the family that they are here. It's a tough time for all of us. We're still trying to make sense. But this was a great human being that I've ever met. His energy, that sometimes you see what's happening, 12 at midnight. In the morning, I'm waking up, I'm a late morning person, I wake up at 8. At 5, he has already posted something. He was a hard worker. He would go everywhere and cover a lot of stories. So for me, I learned a lot from that. And he's gone, but I think he managed to keep his voice and up through the stories that he did, and he immortalized himself. And it's something that I will really cherish and celebrate going forward. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
I think we're going to have an offering. Davison, don't worry, I was also teased by Johnny about my love for Liverpool. So it was always a fight that I'm walking alone. And that's what he will say to me, today you're walking alone, my leader, after each loss of Liverpool. So, so it's one of those moments. But one thing that you say that really stands out is how Johnny supported all of us in our work. He did it with all of us. I would often get text messages after I finished an interview, and he says, "That was nice, Vanida. Well done. You must press harder." Then now I know tomorrow when I do another interview, I have him at the back of my mind. And if Elijah comes on, I must press harder. So yes, that was Johnny. And another person who we all bother, Jonisayi included. Brawili is the one person. We're looking for a number, we are looking for this, can't find Elijah on the phone, we can't find the president. This man is a troubleshooter, that's what I call him. We fight him, we ask him, he's not allowed to say no to us, and Johnny was the same with him. So Brawili, as you come, representing government communications, you would have had a lot of moments with Jonisayi, so I'm going to ask you to compress them to 3 minutes before I tease you if you don't follow Asana and do it on his behalf.
Thank you very much. I'm the only one who's qualified to call you Mfundisi. It's our internal family politics. Thank you very much, Program Director, Ms. Mfundisi Bongiwezwan. Let me also thank the members of the bereaved family. Sometimes when we work with people, we don't know where they come from in the morning. Only during this time is there that to see that before we are what we are doing, we are human beings. We wait somewhere, we smile somewhere, there are people who take care of us. Thank you very much. Let me also thank the colleagues from the media fraternity that are led by the African Media and Communicators Forum under the leadership of Uhlanga. I think there is something I need to comment about that fraternity in South Africa. The love that they have for each other, especially during times, the challenging times. I remember they led a frantic search for one of their colleagues. We joined as government. Jonisayi also reported on that, and we ultimately found, although we found their remains. So thank you very much for what you're doing. I know that many people think that journalism is quite a challenging but thankless job, but you make us see that it's also a family. Let me also appreciate the presence of members of the diplomatic corps, this time especially the Chinese embassy in South Africa is represented by the different offices that they have, specifically the Johannesburg one. Also the government representatives that are here, friends and fellow monarchs, let me use that word. We gather here today with profound sadness to bid farewell to a respected journalist, a colleague, and a friend to many of us who work in the field of communication. In government communications, and I think they are here, the team from the media engagement side who work very, very closely with Jonisayi, led by, of course, Botemba Botakana. We interact with journalists almost daily. These relationships are often built around deadlines, as Manfredis was talking about, looking for the numbers. Always when they call you, they tell you about the deadline as if there is a line that is dead. And they say, we want the response now. So that's our interaction with them. But also for briefings, when we are the ones that are leading, and the constant flow of information that shapes public discourse. But every now and then one meets a journalist whose professionalism and humanity stand out in a special way. I have no doubt in my mind to say, for me, Jonisayi was one of those people. Over the years, we worked closely on many occasions. I knew him when he was at the Pretoria Museum, engaging on government programs and matters of national interest. In all those interactions, Jonisayi demonstrated what good journalism should represent, which is fairness, but also curiosity and deep commitment to informing the public. When I talk about curiosity, is when a journalist looks for a story and they are not sure. Then they call, they say, have you heard about this? And then I did it. They said, no, you must have heard. I said, but it's you who have heard. And then you must know that they are looking for a story. So that is the curiosity that I enjoy in them, but also which Jonisayi had. One memory that will remain with me is our trip to Beijing in September 2024. We had to assemble and carry the costs for the media team from South Africa, working very closely with the Chinese government as they were assisting also in the funding. We had no hesitation in picking Jonisayi to be part of that special team. We were leading as GSIS together with the embassy, and we identifying those that will tell a story about South Africa. What we did was to go through the different writings and the reporting so that the people we take are not going to sing the song of government, but will tell the story the way they are writing. So it's quite important that we always, as media engagement, we follow the writings, we listen to their reporting, and so forth, how the story is packaged. So Jonisayi was one of those that we picked and submitted his name. Traveling together on that international assignment allowed me to see the dedication that Jonisayi brought to the craft of journalism. Even far from home, in a busy and demanding environment, Jonisayi remained focused on ensuring that the South African public received accurate and meaningful coverage. That was the thing that brought something to me as a South African, that we have a very patriotic leader. I went with the team. For the very first time, I saw what goes on when they are in the field. We had Sophie, we have A.B. Makwe, and so on. They will even stop a car and they say, Brawili, can we find the story now? And remember the time difference. And the interesting one was when I saw somebody crossing live on television. He was in his boxer shorts, no shoes. But he put on a tie and a jacket and he said that. And when I look at that, I said, is this how you work? But I think I was impressed. But also how we sat and decided on what is good for South Africa. You can go and check those reporting of that September. The whole team that was in China, to an extent that no lesser than a person of the president's stature, had to make a U-turn from the tarmac of the airport. When we said, President, this team wants you, because he was seeing how they were reporting, he made a U-turn and he gave that team that we were with the whole 2 hours, delayed the flight because of the narrative that they were putting. Jonisayi was one of them. Hence, I want to also acknowledge the presence today of the office of the Deputy President of the country, that is represented by my colleague and brother, Steve, is here. To the family, we extend our deepest condolences. Your loved one served the country through the important work of journalism, and we are grateful for the dedication and commitment that he showed throughout his career. May we be consoled by the analogy of life being a play or a stage. Everyone is given an opportunity to act on the stage, which is the earth. Then when the curtain of life falls or closes, we depart the stage with the satisfaction that we have performed our act. Jonisayi is healed. The pain he lived with is no longer there. Allow him to rest. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you very much for listening.
Only Brawi can tell people that I actually have another life in ministry, which is, I always say, is my first life before journalism, actually. So yeah, now that the cat is out of the bag, I am a minister of the Word of God, by the way. So yeah, but I'm not going to preach. First. I didn't want to acknowledge him. Thank you so much for doing that for me, Brawi, acknowledging Jordan. Because to me, this is a man I can talk about for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries. So thank you. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, John. I would like to call a colleague of ours, but a colleague of Jonisayi's at IOL, Sihle. You know, there's an embodiment that I saw in Sihle when he made the call to me last week. It's an embodiment of someone who cares so much about their colleague they did not want to be left behind. We had said this is what's going on. Elijah put on the group to say, colleagues, we are planning a memorial, we'll give details soon. Immediately, Usihle reaches out and says, I would like to be part of it, would like to know how we can celebrate the man. It tells you about who the man Jonisayi was at work as well. So Sihle, if you can come and talk about a man you would have competed for 1 million views with and clicks and everything. Hopefully do not leave behind in 3 minutes some of the important diary session moments you will have those exchanges. Thank you.
Greetings all to the Maromo family, Michelle and Eugene, colleagues and friends, all protocol observed, Sanbonani. Jonisayi was an impeccable journalist. He was fast, and his stories often resembled Hollywood movies. He was committed, and he strived for the best always. He was a leader and a role model in the newsroom. He consistently and repeatedly overperformed, as Umama told you about Amamilion. This was a story of Jonisayi consistently, month on month, year on year. He was a consummate professional. When he pitched a story, you knew it was coming, and you knew it would make an impact. Who will forget his Ford Ranger stories, his border stories, and the scam series? Johnny was never one to chase individual glory. He was a team player who was consistently among the best performers at IOL. Jalo. Lala kahle, Johnny. To the Maromo family, please lean on God during these tough times and cherish the great memories you shared with Johnny. He's still with us. With those few words, I'd also just like to share a message that has been written by Eulogy, who's IOL's editor-in-chief. In the words of Eulogy, he says, Jonisayi was a resilient, hardworking, diligent, and dogged journalist. Johnny's impact was not only felt through his storytelling, he had a profound impact on our newsroom. He was a respectful team player who found joy in uplifting his colleagues, celebrating their successes, while always displaying humility when experiencing his. Johnny had a strong work ethic, and even in recent years, in the face of failing health, periods of hospitalization, and despite the pleas of us as his newsroom leadership and friends to slow down and take it easy, Johnny would put his shoulder to the wheel and continue producing stories that mattered. From exposing heartbreaking, cautionary stories of people being scammed to their life savings to holding government to account. For Johnny, the story came first. Johnny was a fine gentleman. He was humble. He was caring. He was constructive in his criticism, and he was devoted to his principles. And most importantly, he was vocal about justice. Johnny, Lalalas, we salute you, and you've left a hole that cannot easily be filled. Rest well, my leader. Siyabonga. Oh, sorry, just one more announcement from us at IOL. On Wednesday at 2 p.m., I believe it is, we will be also celebrating the life of Jonisayi at our Rosebank offices at the Rosebank corner. So please do come and let's celebrate the life of this great journalist. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much, Sighe. I was actually just thinking about the fact that, yeah, he can be honored once, not this man. His larger-than-life personality is one that deserves to be honored, even throughout, because, as you say, he's made not only an impact on, in the IOL newsroom, but also in all our lives. And speaking of impact, the South African journalists will also, remember Johnny. And Snenhlanhla Masilela, if you can just start coming close by. Natasha couldn't make it, so Snenhlanhla will speak on behalf of us as the South African journalists and just capture, what we currently all going through, because it is a difficult one to talk about.
As you can imagine, good day everyone. As you can imagine, I didn't prepare anything. I was only told like a couple of minutes ago that I'll be speaking. And as you can see, I'm really, really emotional. But I will try to give it my best. I met Jonisayi around 2012 and I was still a very young journalist. I met him when I couldn't even write an intro. And Johnny held me by the hand. I was still a freelancer by that time and he was working at SAPA. He held my hand and showed me the roads around Pretoria. I'd be running after him, because I knew he knew his job. I relied on him to have an angle. I relied on him basically on everything. And then he knew that I was looking for a permanent job. And yes, during the week when I learned of his passing, I just went through our conversations and I found emails that he had sent me in 2013, helping me to find a job. That's the man he was. Jonisayi wanted, if you have come across Johnny, you know that he would want you to see you win. Johnny knew that my strength is not in politics. He knew. And then when we would be sent 2 stories together to cover politics, he would say, "Comrade, we've got this, we're gonna do it, comrade, we're gonna kill it." And I would be doing, miscellaneous stuff, small stuff, and he would be interviewing serious people. And then when we cover the story, he would include me on the byline, and imagine, I don't even do much. And when we get to the office, he'd be like, "Yeah, comrade, we did it. I saw you doing your thing. I saw you. I didn't even do much." That's the person he was. At IOL, like they said, every month they would review how our stories did performed. And maybe sometimes I'm the top performer for that month. Johnny would text me on the side and be like, "Yes, comrade, that's who you are." He never saw me as his competitor. I was never a competition. I was a colleague and a sister. Every time I struggled with a headline, I knew Johnny was a text away. Johnny's text and Johnny's articles, if you go to IOL, you knew that this article was written by Johnny. You would know. He had a signature. No one can replace. No one will replace Jonisayi at IOL. Our meetings will never be the same. They will never. We will truly miss him. A true comrade. He has to call people, leadership, comrade, commissar. And he was just that. He wanted to see our team winning. Even at our lowest, he would encourage us to do better as a team. I will never experience a Jonisayi at work. I will never. But we are grateful that God gave us a chance to experience it. We are happy that the time that we were given, even though it was short, but we glad that we got to experience him at that Jonisayi. One the guy can complete. I will miss you. We will miss you. Thank you.
You speak about the text messages that would come from Johnny. I'm looking at one here from the 11th of December 2024. He says, at 17:19, I was on air at the time, he says, "There's something beautiful about seeing you chat to Kaya." That is a colleague of mine. And I say, "My leader, long time, how are you?" He says, "You do look very well taken care of, leadership. Pass the masses greetings to the leaders. Seabo." That was Jonisayi. This is his language. And then I say to him, "I'm good, Kada. I cannot complain. How are you?" And he says something that he said consistently, and I go through our messages. It's a consistent thing. He says, "I'm well, my leadership, but one thing you must know, I'm always very proud of you." I took these words like, I would always say to him, "No, man, thanks, Johnny. Same here." But they ring differently when I listen to everyone today. He told us what he thought of us every day. He told us what he thought of our work every day. Every time we would speak to him, even if you go months without talking to him. So thank you for bringing that to life, and thank you, Snehlanhla. I know it's hard, but thank you. Tony Tendai, if I may ask you to come and speak for the Zimbabwean journalists Zim Journalist essay. If you are here, Tony, please come. I hope you can fit everything into the limited time. I know this is when characters, I know, become more sometimes when you write about certain subjects, but this time I know it's not easy, but yeah. Thank you.
Afternoon, colleagues. I think the first thing I want to say is my condolences to my family and also to the colleagues. So, on the 6th of March, I was in Zimbabwe, and I knew Comrade Jonisayi was in Zimbabwe. So I texted him, Comrade, where are you? And he sent me a location, he said, come. But when he sent that message, I was driving out of Harare. And then when I came back the next day on Saturday, it was evening, it was raining, and I had a flight to catch on Sunday in the morning. And I knew I was going to be in Pretoria this week. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to see Comrade there. So I arrived on Sunday, I went to my place in Mpumalanga, came back on Wednesday, early in the morning, I had an early flight to Cape Town. And whilst I was there, I got a call from Comrade Roman telling me that our leader is no more. I was shocked. I remember the group that we are in, the group that one of the groups that we started for Journalistic. I locked it because I'm one of them. I locked it because I didn't want people to panic. I wanted to make sure what I was getting was correct. So it was my flight from Joburg to Cape Town was one of the longest flights. It's short, but it was long for me because I was there, unable to speak to anyone, just me and my thoughts, and Jonisayi's chats, and me, my comrade, my leader, my commandant, I would say to him. So I'm still shocked. I'm still shocked, and I'm sure even the colleagues in the Zim Journalist essay group, they are all still shocked. We're still trying to process the passing of our leader. It was the glue that held us all together. We have got people with different personalities, but he was always the one who was calm. He was always the one who encouraged us to make money. Come on, let's make money. If people are having personal issues, they're like, come on, leave these things. Let's make money. That was his motto. So he's surely going to be missed. And on Tuesday, whilst I was on the flight, I then discovered that one of the last messages that he responded to in that group that we're in, it was about a joke that I had shared, and then he responded. I'm not going to tell you what he responded, but it was him. We would joke around. Most of the time, it was just us joking around. And the group has not been the same, and we will not be the same. It's like an amputation. The wound might heal, but I don't think we'll ever be the same again. So to our leader, our comrade, our commander, Comrade Jonisayi, may you so rest in peace. And may you guys be comforted. Thank you. And thank you so much for all of you for coming to help us celebrate the life of Comrade. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony. Thank you. I suppose we can all say, we can hear the theme. We are indebted to the leadership. So we good? Before we call Elijah, and I'm gonna allow the video to play, and he will be here at the end of it. But one thing that I cannot not say is, Elijah, before you come up here, thank you. Thank you for caring. Truly thank you for caring. Not only caring about Johnny as a friend and brother to you and a colleague to many of us and to you as well, but thank you for caring enough about us as journalists, for you and Jonisayi to give us what is a platform that way now we can all even be family. We know we're family when we bump into each other at stories, but for you to care enough about our well-being, it means everything. And for you to, I know I'll still do the voice of thanks later, but I want to quickly say to you, thank you. Not many people take what we go through as communicators and as the media as seriously as you do on a daily basis. So we would be doing an injustice if we do not thank you for even having been with this family, not only from the time Johnny passed on, but throughout the course of time. So everything you did to get us to this moment, we are saying in true Jonisayi style, we are led and we are indebted to the leadership. So if I can ask Sipho, if we can turn our eyes to the screen. There's a video that has been put together, just especially for us in this moment, and just for us to capture the life. Not as much, there's many more, but it'll help us capture his life.
Noma I'm sure you would have seen that in one of the photos he's wearing a suit like this one. So I chose this one to wear for that specific reason. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we were going through the same suffering when it comes to supporting candidates. So that's the second thing that we have in common. So on Wednesday morning, I was chairing a meeting. We have daily meetings at 7 a.m. every day on the issue of the water challenges in Gauteng. So I was busy chairing that meeting, and then I see lots of calls are coming through. And I'm wondering, who's calling me at 6 a.m.? What's the rush? So I saw calls from 2 other numbers. And it's colleagues in the group that are trying to alert me that Aldrin is calling me. And she also called, but I'm busy talking in the meeting. At the same time, I'm looking at this phone. So the calls are coming through. So in her frustration, she sends a message. She says, maybe I should just read the message. I see the other colleagues have also read their messages, so maybe I should just also do a reading of the message. So she says, my husband passed away this morning. So at that point, I then saw the number that is here, and I just froze. And fortunately, I was concluding that meeting, but I was in total disbelief. And then she didn't want anyone else to confirm or to announce this. She said, I must be the one to do it. So I spoke to her with a conversation. She told me that he has indeed passed away. And in that moment, the journalist part of me had to kick in, because we need to inform you. She expected that I needed to do that. Then I had to write a statement in that moment. And thanks to Tony as well, because he picked up what was happening. So Johnny says to me, just lock the group because people are going to be saying different things. But I said, it's okay. I don't even know how to lock the group. I didn't have the time to do that. But I said to colleagues, please just calm down. And then we had to work on the statement. And she tells me that he passes away is in Mutare, which is 256 kilometers away from Harare, and probably a few more kilometers. Because from Harare, you need to cover the distance to Guru, which is home. And she says to me, I don't know what to do because I have nothing. I said to her immediately, please, don't worry. I'm going to help you. I didn't know what, but I had to be there for her at that moment. And I was alone as well in that moment in the morning. You know, when you're busy chairing these meetings. Maybe at this point, I need to read this message because it will give you a sense of why me? Because I was asking myself as well, why me? So I'm going to just give you a sense of why. So, a colleague here spoke about that incident of the journalist who was arrested in Mozambique. So Jonisayi says to me, hey, brother, we have a colleague who's arrested in Mozambique. We need to do something about this. We can't just keep quiet. This person is one of our own. We need to do something about it. So I said, in fact, he said to me, give me a few paragraphs about this issue. I will write the story. Because that's how we've been working. Even in the AMCF, he represents the journalism fraternity, and I represent the communicators. So that's how we've been working. We're two sides of the same coin. So he says, give me a comment, I will write the story. And we wrote the story. He published that story within minutes. And then after that, we now get calls from media organizations. I remember that time it was EWN. They were desperate for a comment on that story. And I said to them, why don't you call Delco? And the journalist said to me, Delco does not want to comment. So I said to Johnny, you know, there are media colleagues who want a comment on the story. So how do we handle it? And then he sends me a message. He says to me, you know, I've been thinking I can contract cholera while in Zimbabwe, my home, and die there. Delco does not have a mandate or jurisdiction, but you will have, sir. We took a much bigger constituency. If our member base in Nigeria is arrested, we have a responsibility towards her. We have colleagues who are in Mozambique, living in Mozambique. We are an international media network. So that's the first message. Just under a year ago, he sends me a message. He was busy watching television. I think it was late in the news. The funeral of Lieutenant Colonel Maromo of the Hawks. So he takes that photo, he sends it to me. But that photo is accompanied by a message. In that message, it says, Booty, what time is convenient for my arrival? On my agenda, I'll need to talk to you about my funeral. Yes. Everyone will ask you 100 questions. And for directions when I pass. This was in May last year. It's not this year. But when I put the two messages together, of course there's 1,000 messages, you can imagine, from the past 13 years or so of working together. And I have all these messages. So when I put the two together, it becomes very clear that he prepared me for this. That I had to organize his funeral from South Africa while I was in Zimbabwe. The jurisdiction he was talking about didn't become an issue. He said, it doesn't matter where I die, you have jurisdiction. we had to organize that funeral literally within hours. I asked her, so when is the funeral? She says to me, I don't have money, food is expensive, things are expensive. I cannot afford to keep feeding people while we're waiting for some other date. All I need you to do is to help me get him out of Mutare hospital to Harare so that we can do the burial. And then I asked her, do you have any money? She said, yes, the employer has sent some money. And here's the other challenge that we had to overcome. And I know I may get into trouble on this one. Zimbabwe's adoption of the US dollar is a big problem. I'm saying this because the company sent a certain amount of money. I don't even know if I should say it. I don't know, Siki. The company sent a large amount of money which became nothing on the other side. The company sent 20,000 rand, which became $1,000. And the supplier that we got there was looking for $3,500 US. Do you know how much that is? Go check.
Yes,
it's about 56,000. Which means that money that independent had sent was just a fraction of what was required. We then now went to look in as an organization to say, what do we do when the situation is like this? Unfortunately, we've got corporate partners who made one call and they said, we are going to help you. Just don't say who it is because of the jurisdiction issues and other political implications that may arise as a result of that. We were then able to, within that hour, we had to go find another supplier who was a little bit cheaper, but still it was a lot of money. So we were able to send them money. I was able to talk to those people and we were able to have some arrangement. And this is on Thursday. So whatever agreement that we have, the vehicle will need to start moving at that point. And you will recall that if you are transporting a cargo like that, you don't drive it whatever speed that you want. So we needed to cover that 300 or so kilometers. But it became possible. Thursday afternoon they arrived in Harare, and then on Friday the funeral took place. Those who saw it, we shared the link, were able to watch it. At that same time, we're arranging this memorial service. It's been very difficult, and thanks to TCIS as well, Peniswa, working with all the way here, we're able to secure this venue and all these things that you see here. This is the perfect venue. The photo that you see, you can just go to that photo where he's wearing a tie there. He was where the Consul General is seated. It was during COVID. I took that picture immediately after I made a briefing in this room. So this is, even that photo that you see now, is a press room next door. A good number of the photos that you see here were in this building. So this is home to him. So it is important that we recognize the fact that this building also played a major role in his life as a journalist. I met him in the course of doing work in journalism. He was a journalist, of course, and I was at the Department of Basic Education. And together with Bo Ostenvis, were part of that group. And when I look at the timeline, Tony, I see that he created the Zim Journalist Group first on the 26th of June, 2014. And 2 or 3 weeks later, he created a group that was called then Pretoria Diaries. So it was just a news gathering platform where journalists would share diary stories and know where to go for their news items for the day, and later on communicators started joining in. But after I joined as well, we worked together. We used to create committees that would focus on issues of discipline in the group and all of those things. But as time was going, we developed the rules, and this thing just evolved into something else. That's why you can see today it's branded like this, because we then realized that we needed a professional association that would bring together communicators and journalists. And we've been able to do that with his assistance. And let me tell you that in the course of doing that work, we've gossiped about a lot of you who are on that group. We have had to make decisions about some of you. Some of the decisions we never implemented. Some of them we implemented. And you used to say, you know, but one day people are going to sue us. Many times you would say people are going to take legal action against us for having removed them from the group. There was a time when we used to remove inactive members from the group. And people will come to us and beg and say, my career depends on my presence in the group. If you are doing this, you are literally throwing me into the streets. How am I going to survive? So that's what the group has become. In the course of the past 5 days, I stopped myself from calling him to ask, so what should the program look like? Because it's the same guy that I was working with when we were busy with the issue as a review. So things like this would be the times when I would need him to guide me, and me, you know, telling him how I think things should be. So I found myself alone and just working and thinking what must come next. But thanks to the team that has been around me at this time, and thanks to you as well. I think you've been great. I think that pastor side of you jumped in first and you said, this is what we need to do. I said, it's fine. Let's do it. But I need to say that in our monthly meetings with Johnny, we used to have those. He used to say, but I need to know things about you, and you need to know things about me. If something happens to me, people are going to ask you questions. So there's a lot that he has shared with me, and there's a lot that I've shared with him as well, that I still need to find a way to process. So to me, he wasn't a colleague or a friend or an associate or a partner in this. He was a brother. If you look at our messages, we hardly use our names. It's Anna Avshen Tatar, Avshen Buti. He could speak my language as well. Johnny could speak Xitsonga as well. See, the pages that you see there, these are not things that we went and searched in the last few days. These are pages that he used to send to me. And let me tell you something else. Some of the captions that you saw on his articles, I wrote them. I can show you the messages. He would say, please could you help me with the caption? I would send the caption and it would be published as is. He was shocked to find that I also worked for Independent. So I think a part of him believed that I was still part of the Independent group. That's why I needed to continue to contribute. But he's the same guy who taught me how, because I said to him, If I was in the newsroom right now, I wouldn't survive. I come from the era where the success of the stories was based on the number of copies sold in a day. But he said to me, no, it doesn't work that way. So he even showed me the system that you guys are using. He showed me the other side of it, which they see, the targets and the views and the clicks. He said, now you are judged based on the number of views on your story. So he took me with him in his journey, and he was always watching me. Some of the photos that you see here, screenshots of television interviews, I would take, because when I see him, I'd be happy that he's there, he's working. I would capture those and send to him, and he would post them on his Facebook page. So that's how we were working. And he would bring Adriana, this is my wife, please help her. And she would be working with the Chinese, and would say, please, there's this competition for learners in schools. The Free State is not cooperating. I need you to help me. Then I would help him by pushing the colleagues in the Free State to work so that there can be more entries in the competition that the Consul General's office was running. And the prize is there, something that was educational. So he was always doing those types of things, always supportive, not just to me, but to his family as well. Was supportive to other journalists. Out of the blue, he would just say, hey, check this person. Let's look at this one. And we'll just discuss a person that's in the group. Sometimes, and he knew crooks as well. He knew and worked with crooks, but he would then say, I don't trust this one. But because this person leads me to other stories, that keeps my career going. He was very clear about that I don't trust this one, I don't trust this one. He said, but what can you do? So he had the insight to create a distance, a safe distance, but still be able to work with you when he needed to work with you. Very intelligent, and he also told me stories about why he was called Warchild. As you can see, most of the photos that you would have seen is wearing military uniform. So everything is related to the other thing. So he is the one who would say, hey, the people are calling for a networking session, let's organize it. This year, when I drafted a statement and I shared it with him, I said, today, the 18th of February, is the first anniversary of the passing of our friend, Aserinklo. He said, already? He said, don't worry, I will write that story. And he wrote the story. And he happens to be the only journalist who wrote a story about the passing of Aseri. The only one, at least based on what I've seen. There may be other journalists who wrote stories on this case. I didn't see, but Joni wrote a story, released it. You can go check IOL pages of 18 February, which is 2.5 weeks ago. The story is there. And by the way, the Aseri case was in court again today. He said to me, but this story still devastates me. He died without having seen justice. That case, I know it would have been postponed today. It would be postponement number 15 today. There's another, I haven't received the update from the team that we sent there. There was supposed to be a 2-day sitting today and tomorrow. I know we would have been following that story today. He would have written another story again tomorrow because he felt that we needed to see justice happen on this case. So that's the type of person that I was. To him, losing Aseri, there was a big thing, and I could see that it was affecting him. That's why we took on that campaign to join and lead the search for Aseri, but it was at the forefront of it. So it's actually sad that we have a photo like that, where both of them have left us, and we're using this room again to bid them farewell. So it's a very heavy moment for the communication and media industries. So let me just thank again the Consul General for your presence and the team. Condolences to the family, Michelle, Aldrin. It's still a long journey. And let me also thank our counseling team from Wildlife Inc. I must tell you that I attended my session yesterday. I need counseling. I've already started. The team is always with us, and we say the service is available. Doesn't have to be related to this. We know that journalism, we know that communication, it's a very tough industry. So mental health is a big issue. That's one of the items that we focus on in terms of professional support at the African Media and Communicators Forum. We take that very seriously. That's why we take the team with us everywhere we go. So, if you need it, you will get in touch. The contact information is there. There are two guys from the organization. They will be able to talk to you about that. So, I'm just conveying my greatest gratitude to them for being here to make sure that we are able to get through this difficult time. Thanks to the family, the team from the Journalistic SA, we appreciate you, and Tony for the support last week and today as well, and your team. Let's keep the communication lines going. Let's find a way to do something integrate. We cannot afford to let the legacy of Jonisayi disappear like that. We still need to think properly about what we're going to do. But we really need to consolidate. Let me thank each and every one of you, especially the members at AMCF, those who make the time to be here with us this afternoon. We really appreciate you. The messages that have come through, I appreciate as well. Messages of support, they're still coming through. We know, colleagues, that it happened way too fast. There are some who are still asking us what happened. Others are still saying, what do you mean? It's still happening. Someone is saying, when did this happen? When I told some colleagues that the funeral has already happened, they were shocked because they couldn't relate from the dancing Jonisayi to the one who's already buried. You just can't visualize Jonisayi as a person who's no longer alive. It's just impossible. So for me, it's still a difficult thing. I mean, I've gone through a lot of messages here. It became clear that, and I'm glad that the wife is the one who has confirmed that Johnny has been sick for a long time. I'm not sure people that go over the Sahara will recall that we once took him out of ICU at Belfast about 10 years ago or so, or 8 years ago. He's been sick. Most messages that he's been sending me were confirming exactly that. There will be a time we would go to a media briefing. From there, he says, I'm going to the doctor. And the doctor's appointment. On any given day. But you were with him, he was asking questions. So even in some of those photos, you see him dancing. But at the end of the day, he says, I'm going to Steve Biko to say that. Another day, I'm going to Belfast to see a doctor. So he was always seeing a doctor. But the greatest part of it is that he learned to live with the pain. Most people didn't even know. If you look at the messages that he was sending me. So when I asked him, how are you? I actually meant that. How are you? There will be times when you would disappear and you wouldn't find it. And then he would come back. He says, no, I've been in Zimbabwe. He spent most of his time there. Sometimes, I mean, the stories he would write from there, and he would say to me, there's a message there, where he said, the media has changed so much that I can write from anywhere. So he writes some of his stories from home. He's the one guy who always reminded me, I want to deputize you. I'm not South African. I'm Zimbabwean. I don't want to make people feel anxious. I know my space. You take over and you lead us. I trust in you. So that's the relationship that we had. A lot can be said about him, and a lot will still be said about him. We will attend the memorial service. We've already confirmed with independent newspapers, with IOL, that will be at the memorial service, and encourage a lot more colleagues to do that. Colleagues, we are doing this not because of our own selfish interest, it's because of the interest of others. We feel that as a country we don't have a proper platform, we don't have a proper organization that looks after communicators and journalists. We don't. We feel that this is the only one that is trying to do that. And we appreciate the fact that we have the support of the Deputy Minister and the Presidency, Maromo, who's been with us. He's walked the journey to search and find a certain group. Even on this one, when we alerted him, he became aware, and he also conveyed the message of condolences to the families. Because we know there's Adrian's family and there's Jonas' family, so yeah, the family is now coming together because of this situation. But I'm saying in support of what Mr. Baloyi has said, that the government of South Africa viewed Johnny as an important. You can look, I mean, we have many more photos. There's a photo with the president of South Africa as well. Even the previous president of South Africa, he had photos. So he was a recognized professional who played a role in taking the story of South Africa to the world and taking the stories of the world to this country. So we value him, we will miss him, we miss him already. I still need to figure out what I need to do because I've lost my gossip partner.
Thank you very much, Elijah. Thank you. That was beautiful, and we know that it was not always going to be easy to speak about someone you walked the journey with for so long. And I'd like at this time, without delay, call Mr. Pan Ching from the Consul General of China to speak about just, for a few minutes and speak to you, Aldrin, because there's a message they would like to convey to you. And it's not just about us speaking to you, but it's the other people who John would have touched.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Program Director, for giving me the floor to say a few words. I will be short, but first of all, I want to say to Archie and Donnie's daughter, be strong. We are always with you. You see many, many others will be with you. Johnny is really a friend and a comrade, I should say. We enjoyed a long time, our consulate, long time cooperative relations with him. And personally, I've been here in South Africa for more than 2 years and a half already. And Johnny is I think he's among the first group of persons I started to engage. So I should say we maintained a very close communication and cooperation for almost 2 years and a half. As everybody recall, there are many things to remember of Johnny. Yes, I still can't believe, I still remember the lively smile from him during our Spring Festival, the Chinese Lunar New Year reception. That happened not long ago. But here, I just want to recall two things. His passion for work. I took Johnny as an example for my colleagues too. For example, an event happened in the evening, and very early, the next day morning, we saw the comprehensive and very professional report on the media. So I talked to my colleagues, Johnny is really love his work. You see, works so hard. I took him also as an example, and also I encouraged my colleagues to follow suit. Of course, many things really. Through my engagement with Johnny, he shows to us his love to family, his love to his country, his love to the community, and also his love to the cross-cultural communication, especially between China and South Africa. So that's why I say it's not only his passion for work, and also his dedication to our friendship. I appreciate his work and the dedication to the promotion of our friendship. And also, I recall many talks between us. As I think the gentleman from the communication Houghton governors mentions, he bring the stories to the world, into China, including China, and also bring the stories from China to the South Africa. We have many talks, and I appreciate his help during my stay here in this beautiful country for my deep and comprehensive understanding of your beautiful country and also your people, and also I appreciate his work for a better understanding for the South African people and the community of a better understanding of China too. We miss Johnny, we will remember Johnny. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Consul General. Yeah, this is the moment where we say, oh, I would always say to him, mandates delivered. And these are the words I'm saying to him in his absence, I suppose. To say mandate delivered. So thank you to all of you for attending today and for making this time to remember someone you treasured and will continue to treasure for a very long time. Thank you for making it here. Perhaps before I do the vote of thanks, so if you can come and just present the fact. didn't think the tears would come now. I actually thought I can hold it until the end. But thank you so much. Consul General, thank you for your presence and your team. We appreciate it. The team at AMCF, thank you. To everyone on the group, thank you. Our colleagues in the industry, both here in Zim and in other parts of the world, thank you for being here with us. You know, there's a silent force that helped with a lot of the things you see here today. So thank you. I just want to single you out and say thank you for making what would have been a difficult task to put together, make it so easy. The GCIS, thank you for being not only a home where we come for briefings, but when we needed and we knocked and we said we just need a venue big enough to do this, please assist. You were very quick to open your hands. Sis P, Itu and Ramili Soho, thank you. Wildlife Inc., thank you so much. We've seen how you've just been rallying around a number of us, especially the family as well. Yeah. Thank you so much, Muruti, for coming. You know, at times like this, when words fail, the only thing that at times makes a lot of sense is prayer. So thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you to friends and colleagues and for being here and truly just making this day one that is easy to navigate. I want to thank the family, everyone, including everybody back home. You've borrowed us a great gift. You shared him with us so selflessly. There was never a time, Aldrin, that we'd call Johnny and ask him for something and he would say, hey, I can't take a call now, I'm busy, I'm trying to, you know. You steered the ship so well that he didn't need to tell us to wait a bit. Because I think he understood how big of a mandate. One called him the driver of the ecosystem. He got us all together, both here and everywhere. He was the glue. And so thank you so much for really just having a heart so big enough to share him with all of us and to allow him to love us his way, you know, as his brothers and sisters. And I've also just want to thank you, Michelle. Daddy was your dad, but to us he was a friend, a colleague, someone would call when we get stuck on stories. So thank you so much for always just even allowing him to do just that. And he was very proud of you. That you just need to know. So if I can just thank from Wildlife Inc., just Cynthia Cecilia, Niltanani, and Mapula Kalanda Maboro in her absence. Thank you so much. And we'll close in a word of prayer, just like we opened and started. And as journalists, all we know how to do is network. We know how to speak. We just know how to. Some of us get paid to talk, others get paid to write. We are journalists in different facets of the media space. But one thing is for certain, is the deep love for people, it's a deep love for country, it's a deep love for what we do. And we do not do it for the money. I know Johnny would always say, let's go make money. We love money, right? But not above what we do. Purpose is what drives us. Purpose is what we love more than money. Purpose is what we love more than what we get paid at the end of the month. That's why even when they tell us it's a career that doesn't reward that much, we do it because it's a sense of self that we are portraying to you to say who we are your servants. It's not that we want to be served, but we continuously serve you as the people of South Africa and the world through our pen, others through our microphones. I'm going to actually go now and speak for a living. But thank you to you all for having gathered here, taken the time out of your programs to really come and remember this man. We're going to miss him so much. His absence has already been felt. So Muruti, if you can come closer. and close for us in a word of prayer. And as soon as the vote is done, feel free, there's refreshments outside, feel free to mingle, to do it Jonisayi way, and know that he would say to all of you, he's indebted to the leadership. Have fun. Have fun in his honor. Remember him. Share memories of him with each other. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Director, again. I must confess that for the first time I got some understanding of what you guys are doing is all about. And to Elijah, I want to say, I understand you do have that wellness company, whatever, but I think you can also do with the chaplaincy office of some sort. Because at the end of the day, we're spiritual beings, and I want to volunteer myself because you guys really, I now understand what you're facing every day. It's not just stories. I mean, you become part of that, and you are human beings. So I'm volunteering myself. I'll share my number so that should any one of you need my help, I am available. And of course, we need to carry you in prayer because without you guys, we'd be blind, would not know anything that is happening. Not only are you covering stories, but you are helping to shape the landscape of our nation and the world at large. Thank you. May I ask that we bow our heads in prayer, please? Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. And Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Amen.
Thank you so much, Marita, for that and for volunteering much needed chaplaincy to all of us. So thank you so much to all as mentioned earlier. There are refreshments outside, mingle, get to know each other. Those who do not know each other, Johnny would appreciate you exchanging numbers and being colleagues in the industry. So thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Yeah.